It's raining outside. Rain. Which is lovely. There we go. I also noticed that I actually forgot to activate my bot during Edge of Sanity. Good job. So, last time we finished the 4th court mission. This is a compilation of two games, each having 5 stories. So we are doing now, and starting now, the last story of the first game. The Hound of the Baskervilles. Nah.
It's coming! Sholmes's cry pierced through the thick wall of fog around us. Wisps of vapor flowed over the pistol as I cocked it, and I waited, breathlessly, in the stillness. The silence lasted for what seemed an eternity, until, at last, it appeared. From the shadows of the cloud, an enormous beast sprang out upon us. A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Its eyes glowed with a smoldering glare. The whole of its ox-sized body was outlined in white-hot flames. Its rumbling pant and hideous howl, so terrified was I that I began to tremble with fear. "Look well, Wilson," Sholmes declared, gazing upon the mystical beast. "For this is the diabolical hound of the Baskervilles."
Our first 2 months in London passed in a flash, especially since we slept on the street. Well, I enjoyed our stream, but I am very tired, so I shall be going now. Have a great rest of your evening. Thank you so much, Epitoon. Thank you for being here, and rest well. Positive dreams to you. As always, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much, and take care. In that disconcerting courtroom experience, we were first thrown into the day we arrived in the country. And in Saskison's terrible ordeal that had followed closely behind, we had emerged victorious. However, there then came an abrupt end to our opportunity. What? There then came an abrupt end to our opportunities to appear in court. Which was hardly surprising, of course, since I was nothing more than an amateur, an unknown student of law from a faraway land. So life in our little office was very quiet. That is, until it was shattered one day by a fateful telegram. Oh God, what is this picture? Well, that looks more or less like an office now. At least there's some furniture. That morning, I was woken up by the unserving? No, I was woken by the unreserved knocking on the door by the telegram boy. But after he'd gone, Susie's behavior became very obviously strange. Yes, I'm calling her Susie. Don't worry, it's because another character called her Susie. Susie? Yes! Is it time to leave for court already? Let me see. What case is it today? I don't think I'm scheduled to defend anyone at the moment, Emma. Oh, no, of course not. How silly of me. But I think Iris said she would make us breakfast this morning. So shall we go down to Mr. Sholmes' suit? Yes. Iris makes the most delicious breakfast food. She does, doesn't she? And once our bellies are full, we can leave for court in fighting fit form. Let me see. What case is it today? Here we go again. Scary. Well, first and foremost, we're gonna make 3 saves. So we don't have to watch this intro sequence again and again. Just in case. The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. Whose name you shall not say. The Telegram app. So, what was it about? The telegram that was delivered this morning, I mean. Inclusive the phone. Oh, a telegram? I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, but you're not gonna get away with that. Well, I didn't think I would. It's not like I wanted to or anything. Actually, don't give it a moment's thought. It's nothing interesting, boring in fact. It was just a boring old telegram. It's 3 times now that she's tried and failed to convince me it was nothing. I promise that I'll tell you about it at some point. Alright, I understand. Sasuke. I suppose Sasuke-san will have arrived back in Japan by now, won't he? Yes, I should think so. He left immediately after that terrible ordeal. Which would mean he should have completed the voyage already, or be just a few days away. A fortnight ago we had that very long telegram from him, do you remember? Complaining of seasickness. But by and large, it seems the voyage has been going well. Something wrong, Naruhodo-san? I was just wondering what might have become of Sasuke-san had stayed in London, that's all. You mean, as regards Lord Vincex, the Reaper? Yes. Can't help wondering if the seasickness would have paled into insignificance in that case. The Reaper. What is it they say? That no one would stand in the dock can be saved from the Reaper, right? Like the way that nightmarish trial ended on the very day we arrived in London. Even 2 months, even 2 months on, the cause of that dreadful fire is still a mystery. Yes, but at least Sasuke-san is safely out of the country now. Presumably that means... What are you talking about here? That the curse of the Reaper can only take effect within the confines of the city of London, perhaps? What are you talking about? Are you crazy? Even if that's the case, what is this voice actually? It's little comfort. I have a terrible sense of foreboding. If the legend of the Reaper is to be believed, it would mean he wields the sword of justice himself. Come to think of it, I wonder what he's been up to these past 2 months. I was sleeping. Where are you? Surely not wielding that sword against more acquitted defendants. No, I don't think so. Apparently Lord Van Six hasn't appeared in court once since our last encounter. Oh? Yes, since Sasuke-san's trial, he's withdrawn from judicial service again, it seems. Really? Just like before, when he wasn't seen in court at all for several years. So it's just been me who's had to face him in recent spate of trials then? Ugh, just my luck. I wonder if luck doesn't come into it. Sorry? What was that? Oh, nothing. Never mind. Move? Oh god. Oh god. I have to speak her again. Oh no. There she is. Oh no. Morning, Bruno. Morning, Susie. Ah, right. My name was Bruno. Good morning, Iris. Iris? What is it, Bruno? What is that terrible noise? It sounds like a cat being strangled. Ah, yes. You noticed that, did you? What is this terrible ass music? Early isn't in the best form this morning, it seems. Hello. Hello, Mr. Schultz. Good morning. A good morning to die, perhaps. Has something happened, Mr. Schultz? You look miserable, and the way you were playing the violin before. My analytical mind is dead. Music is dead. MP3 is dead. The world is dead. Damn this blanched existence. That's all it is, my dear fellow. nothing of consequence. What stupid reason is there that he's so down? I'm afraid I don't understand. Well, Iris, isn't it time we ate? Some dry toast and insipid coffee for me, if it's not too much trouble. Aww. Cat. It's a girl. This... the chance? Did you know? 3 colored cats like this. The chance that a cat is male, having this fur pattern, is like in the percentage of like 1%. Like basically almost every cat like that is a girl. Oh look, it's Vagahai. Vagahai? Vagahai. Vagahai. Good morning, boy. Oh, it's a boy. That's extremely rare. That is so rare. And why did you give the cat a fly? That must be some sort of tiny door for cats to use. Yes. But how did it get there? What? Well then, everyone, time for breakfast. Oh, wonderful. Let me help you, Iris. It would indeed be a fine day to die. I need something look different. Something's missing from Mr. Sholmes' desk. I can't. Wanting to die. You seem to be very unhappy this morning, Mr. Sholmes. What's happened? It used to be the case that in my hands, this violin sung like the dawn chorus. Its mellissonant tones would make flowers bloom. It would? But now, the muses are unamused with me. The goddess of music have thrown me over. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? For hours, I've bowed. Bowed? For days even. Through the night, I have endeavored to no avail. That sound, my tone, is lost. That brilliant, clear, unwavering tone. Gone forever! No more recitals of unbridled emotion. What? Well, you haven't been practicing much lately, have you, Hurley? Don't worry, I'm sure it will come back to you in no time. Heed my words, Mr. Naruhodo. The goddesses of the arts are fickle. One day, they bestow genius on a man, the next unmercifully withdraw it. Oh dear. Ah, why is this happening to me? If they take the turn I have... What? If they take the turn I have for the violin from me, what is left? For pity's sake, what is left? Deduction, perhaps? Isn't that what you're known for? The missing machine. Mr. Sholmes, I don't like to pry, but your desk looks rather empty today. Well done, Miss Susie. Your observational skills do you credit. Oh no, Mr. Sholmes. They pale into insignificance when compared to yours. You would struggle not to notice, wouldn't you? You mean Hurley's great analytiscope? That's at Windy Banks now. Sorry? It's at Windy Bank? No, Windy Banks. The pawnbrokery. Pawn? What? You mean you've pawned that enormous machine of yours? It has some considerable value, you see, quite undeservingly. But isn't it a very important machine for your work? I do wish you had consulted us if your situation had become so desperate. Mr. Naruto is very good with money. He declined a fortune and wealth from our last customer. What an idiot! I should have gladly passed what little income I have to you. Here, madam. Things are far from desperate. But the pawnbroker has your wonderful machine. How can it be anything but desperate? Making use of a pawnbroker is quite ordinary here in London, I assure you. It is? It doesn't sound ordinary at all. That was me, but ignore that. It would seem that neither of you fully understand how pawnbroking works. Oh! What's to understand exactly? How pawnbroking works. What did you mean when you said we didn't fully understand how pawnbroking works? To the people of London, pawnbrokeries are akin to banks. Banks? On Mondays, merchants relinquish their finest jackets and trappings to the pawnbroker of choice. With the money they receive in return, they are able to trade happily through the week. And then on Saturdays, they go to recover their things using the money they've earned. I had no idea. This has been a fascinating lesson for us. Everyone does it, you see, especially people in inner London. And should you have the money to spare, they would purchase another fine jacket. Not to wear, obviously, but to pawn, should the need arise. Oh, how ingenious! So whenever we have something that's getting in the way, we leave it at the Windy Banks, you see. A pawnbrokery that can be thought of as an extremely secure vault. Who would have thought that even pawnbrokers are different here in Great Britain? Of course, you have to watch Hurley with it. Sometimes he pawns things he really shouldn't. Don't you, Hurley? What does it matter? The world is dead to me now. What? What? But... Okay. Wait, we had this. No. Huh? Okay. Sure. Why? There's all sorts of on these shelves. Chemistry apparatuses. Chemistry apparatus, books, papers, and lots of things I've never seen before. It's all heaped up so high I can't feeling that the whole lot is going to topple at any moment. Oh, it's such a charming, untidy collection of paraphernalia, isn't it? Can't you use words that the common person, like the common cat, understands? It looks messy to me, like my desk. But you, Mr. Naruhodo, must learn to tidy up after yourself. No favoritism there, then? Look at Mr. Sholmes' desk. It's completely clear. Isn't that enormous machine usually on it? We can never hope to understand what goes on in the great detective's mind, Mr. Naruhodo. Why, next time we're invited, we may find he's vacated the entire suite. I'm sorry, not suite. It's scarily plausible, actually. What is this? Ah yes, the letters V and R inscribed on the wall in bullet holes. Isn't it the initials of the Queen or something? It's so delightful to see it in the flesh. Having read about it in the stories, it was so inspiring. I fired 100 arrows into my own wall at home to make the characters for Sue. Or for Sue of Susie, you know? Sue. Her? But perhaps there are some things that the great detective does that you don't need to copy? Right. The fire's burning comfortingly in the grate again today. It's a very different feeling to a Japanese habichi somehow. Hibachi. I'm sorry, hibachi. Oh, look at that photo of a lady displayed on the mantelpiece. Could it be? Yes, it must be. It's the woman. How exciting. Is that supposed to mean something to me? The woman. Question mark. As an achievement. Shh. sure. These are all the mementos of Mr. Sholm's past cases, I think. If he'd been involved in my case, I wonder if the beefsteak from La Carnival would be on display here. Oh god. A mystery shoe, a curious hammer, some mysterious dancing man, a bust of Napoleon. Ha! What an entrancing collection! Looks like an untidy assortment of junk to me, rather like what's on my own shelves. Well, you really ought to learn to keep your things in order. Order! Mr. Naruto. No favoritism there at all. It looks like that huge metal chest is being used as a table for tea and coffee. Yes. It seems very sturdy with an equally sturdy lock. Mr. Naruto, you mustn't go around opening things. I always have to keep an eye on you, don't I? You're very mischievous. Naughty, naughty boy. How did you even come to that conclusion? Waha guy. Mr. Natsume's cat. Oh, Sasuke. Mr. Natsume's cat seems to have settled into this new home then. Oh yes, and I've become very attached to the little Waggy. Waggy or Wagyu? Would appear his previous owner is completely forgotten to him. Cats are unfeeling creatures. Their mews are as empty as the hearts of the muses. Wow! You're insulting like at least 3 cats here. If Mr. Natsume had no intention of taking Wagyu back to Japan, I wonder why he kept him in the first place. I expect he would have taken him if he could. But pets are strictly forbidden aboard steamships in our experience. And for good reason. Terrible things can happen if the rules of passage are not obeyed. No, it's more likely to import animals into other countries and then becoming intrusive. Thanks, mice and rats. Well, I don't mind because Wagyu is adorable. I agree. Yes, he really is. Oh yes. What about the door? I don't remember seeing that tiny thing in the main door before. Where did that come from? Oh, you noticed? You are observant, Runo. Look, I used this. It's my latest invention. That looks scary. What is that? I like how she literally makes an actual good invention, but it's always in the form of a gun. Like if she would ever develop a mix-it-all baking machine that would make cakes, it would still look like a gun. I call it the cat flappomat. Gosh, a machine for making doors just for cats. That's right, I can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like a Wagyu in seconds. Hi, Bob. Short audio save. Cheers, Bob. And it can do it at any door. At all, no matter what it's made of. It's very powerful, you see. I imagine that. Like, this door is made out of their diamonds. And Iris goes like, no problem. Wouldn't it have been quicker to just make a cat flap rather than making a machine to make a cat flap? Well, yes, maybe, but now I can make cat flaps anywhere I like. Huh? Oh, I think it's wonderful. You must make one for us in the door of our office upstairs, Iris. She really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions, this girl. Oh no. Oh, what was that? Wagyu? Sorry, that was me. Wagyu? What in the heck? What was that? Oh no. Wagyu's tangled up in your violet. I think he thinks it's a toy. No. What's he doing to it? Oh dear, Mr. Sholmes' precious violet. Why should I care? What? I shouldn't be surprised. If the cat is a more accomplished musician than I now. Mr. Sholmes really is in poor spirits, isn't he? Well, anyway, I put it back where it lives, shall I, Hurley? Out of the cat's reach if possible. Maybe we should assess the damage. So we examine. What is all in this room? Iris's beautiful tea set is there on the table as usual. A cup of her special herbal blends always helps me to relax when I'm feeling the strain. The English pastime of tea has many similarities with our own tea ceremony customs, don't you think? It's the idea of hospitality behind it. That's the essence of tea. Is it? I mean, I drink tea on my own? I'm not inviting anyone? It's a charming little white shelf, and full of charming little bottles too. Full of drugs. But the contents of them aren't quite so charming, it seems. Science is the future, Mr. Naruhodo. You can't deny it. I was thinking, Runo? What was Iris calling us Runo? Reno. Runo. I'm saving my money so I can buy some chemistry apparatus as well. Law, chemistry, take down throws. What diverse skills you boast, Miss Susie. As useful as they are, I'm not sure what my throwing skills are worthy of inclusion in that list. Oh. Why is it so specifically that? Okay. Come to think of it, I haven't seen Iris doing much writing recently. But there's paper already set up in the typewriter. Look, as if she's about to start. That reminds me, when I mentioned that Iris was in the process of writing a full-fledged novel. Mr. Natsume was most impressed. Ah yes, Mr. Natsume. That's what I'll be doing too. Once I'm back in Japan, he said, through tightly clenched fists and teeth. I think I've seen all of that. We need to assess the damage to the violin. So this is the violin, isn't it? It's a Stradivarius, one of the finest violins in the world, made by the renowned Italian luthier Antonio Stradivari. Ah, I'm sure back in that day it probably did cost around 10 quids. Which is a lot of money for that time. Oh, I see. Doesn't really look like anything special to me. I happen upon it covered in dust, languishing in a pawn shop down at the nondescript back alley. What? The broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for a mere 55 shillings. 55 shillings? What the heck? Just so you understand, like 55 shillings back then was, let me lie, probably like $1.50, but at that current time and moment, if you of course calculate it back up to our time, it would be more, but that would be still an absolute choke for an actual Stradivari. How honorable of you. And until today, it has been my faithful companion in every great Paganini-inspired performance I have made. I ask you, is there a reason to live in a world devoid of music? To tolerate this blanched existence? No. There is none. Mr. Sholmes? What, dear madam, what? My thoughts are preoccupied with fancies of release from this dull routine. Well, it's about the violin. It looks very different to normal, don't you think? What do you mean, Miss Susie? Oh, Susie's right. Yes, the tone of the word is completely different. And that's not all. I'm sure there was no crack here before. Wait, it's not even the right size, is it? What is this? Why is she even looking in her book? I'm terribly sorry to have to tell you this, Mr. Sholmes, but that instrument isn't a violin at all. Then what? I believe It's an entirely different instrument called a viola. What? 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 Oh! Well, that's the first time we have seen him fall over. Oh, Mr. Sholmes! You're right. You're quite right. This isn't my fateful Stradivarius. So what, pray, is this piece of stringed flotsam? Not your fateful performing partner, then? Ah, I see what must have happened. You do, Iris? This is just a simple mix-up. Sounds like Iris might be able to tell us exactly what's happened if we ask her. And for this specific reason, I need to go back to the right side and click on her. Why? Mix-up. What did you mean by a mix-up, Iris? Well, you see, this viola, I mean, was at the Windy Banks until last week. At the pawnbrokers? Not Mr. Sholmes' beloved musical partner. There is a proverb from the East in which you are no doubt familiar, my dear fellows. Always let the beloved child travel. But that's why we're sending 10-year-olds into the wild and tell them never come back. Yes, indeed, we do that in Japan since ages. You see, so you sent your beloved violin to the pawnbrokers in the hope that it would experience personal growth? Oh, what a wonderful idea! Can I pawn Susie away? Last week, I pawned my great analytics scope in order to release my precious instrument. But it would appear Mr. Windybank mistakenly furnished me with this tawdry fiddle instead. But my ears cannot be deceived by the hollow timbre of this piece of timber. Smile. No, but your every sense was deceived by the fact that it just had strings. Sure. A fine state of affairs this is, and why I always say, Mr. Naruhodo, never trust a pawnbroker. They will try to fiddle you every time. But earlier you told us that you could think of a pawnbrokery as an extremely secure vault. Woo! Come, Mr. Naruhodo, dilly-dallying will get you nowhere. Sorry? Crunching your toast with that vacant aspect. Pressing your coffee so obtusely. What is he doing? Are you not a little embarrassed by your own conduct, considering the urgency with which we are faced? We must visit Mr. Windybank's brokery at once. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Sholmes? Precisely, Miss Susie, without a moment's delay. But I haven't finished my bacon and eggs. My dear fellow, surely you do not still intend to crunch your bacon with an increasingly vacant aspect, to press your egg ever more obtusely. I don't even understand what he's saying. Alright, say no more. Let's go then. Don't worry, Bruno. I'd be happy to heat it up for you again later. Oh, thank you, Iris. As it happens, I am rather curious to see what a British pawnbroker's looks like. Ooh. New location has been... But Baker Street and the pawnbrokery. Why do we have two? Oh no. Now that's a very French tune for a British city. Only a little bit. Oh, only a little bit. How are you doing, Chet? Are you alive? You're so quiet. Yes. Yes. Proud and silent. Just had a bathroom break. Look at all the different things in the window of this shop. Ah, that's Windy Banks at the pawnbrokery. Looks much small. It looks much smarter than a pawnbrokers in Japan, doesn't it? I wonder if they wanted to write smaller? Why would shop look smarter? I'm confused. Yes, you're right. I find pawn shops at home rather inapproachable, as personally. It reminds me of a tearful parting with my favorite fountain pen. Felt so miserable. 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 What doesn't kill us makes us stronger, Mr. Naruhodo. It's already been 2 months since we started taking lodgings here above Mr. Shom's office. Or haven't you tried hard enough? I still can't quite believe it. I never expected things would turn out like this. Oh, I know! To actually be sharing accommodation with the world's greatest detective. If I ever find myself before a court of law now, I will have not one regret. I don't know what you're talking about, but I would be happy to defend you, of course, for free. But that's all. I thought there would be more. Okay. I'm okay with this. So we're looking at this pawnbroker store, and I know that such stores do exist here as well, but not like in the idea of like as a pawnbrokery. But whenever I see those stores or even enter those stores, I'm like, how do you even keep tabs of all this chaos? Because it's so much stuff, like literally everywhere. And I'm like, ugh. What wonderful character will be Windy Broker? Secret is that they don't. What is it called? What is this called in English? I forgot. I should know, but I forgot. Right, you call it... In English, it's really weird. So, a stationery shop. If you don't know what a stationery shop is, it's basically like a shop where you buy like paper stuff, drawing stuff, envelopes, pens, writing utensils, and so on. So if you ever go to a stationery shop, we have those here in Vietnam too. Yeah, basically every country has them. So if you ever go to a stationery shop, it's basically like going in and then you look around and you go like, how the hell do these people keep tabs on all this stuff? Depends in which one you go, of course. I worked once at one and they had like stuff which was very obvious where it belonged. And then they had like tables and shelves where there are so many different articles and products on it. And I was like, how do you keep tabs? How do you know where everything is? The best part is like a customer comes in and asks like, I'm looking for this. And I'm like, one moment, I have to ask. And she was like, oh, don't worry. Just take your time and you will find it yourself. And I'm like, no, I'm going to ask. It was like very similar to kind of this to some degree. It's like, so this is a British pawnbrokery. Oh my! There are all sorts of tools and contraptions in here that I've never laid eyes upon before. Susie, that spark of wonder in your eyes. You can't wait to scour the shelves, can you? I get the impression you enjoy places like this. Oh yes, I don't know why, but seeing such a lot of things I don't understand is a real thrill for me. My dear fellows, let us not forget why we are here. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. We are calling on the matters of business, not pleasure. And clearly Mr. Sholmes means business too, judging from his spark of fury in his eyes. What? What is this? What is this? This is a far too normal character for this kind of game. Is this acceptable? Who let this through quality control? Ah, Mr. Sholmes, sir. Welcome back. Did you hear that brazen welcome? Well, yes, we are potential customers after all. We are disgruntled customers, Mr. Naruhodo, and it's time to inform Mr. Windybank of our ire. No way. Negative stream review coming. This game has at least one normal character. 4 out of 10. Come, the fight is afoot. He's so normal. I'm actually scared. Violent. Violence. Naturally, you will recall this, which I retrieved from you some days ago. Yes. This second-rate fiddle is not my faithful instrument, Mr. Windybank. The colors of the wood is different. It has holes in it. It's not even the same size. A wonderful summary of our observations, Mr. Sholmes. I'm so sorry, sir. How utterly unforgivable of me. An excusable mistake for a pawnbroker. Sounds almost like Sasuke. There is only one way to make amends. Holy shit, he's a ghost. Holy shit, he's going to shoot us. Oh, he's going to Sudoku himself. I shall take my own life. I'm surprised. I would say like this guy is more Japanese than we are. You know? It's like, oh, the customer asked for this, but I didn't find it. And then the customer left and I found it 2 minutes later. So I went with the product out of the store. I looked for the customer. I ran after the customer and stopped him and told him that I found it. It's like, yeah, that's Japan for you. Oh my god, Persona 3 reference. Kind of, yes. It's about to awaken his persona. Don't tell that they're real humans or they will keep doing this. I don't think that will be necessary, do you? If I may, just one more thing before I pop off. Yes? It was you, sir, Mr. Sholmes, who took it upon himself to remove the item the other day, I believe. Sorry? As I recall, I entered the storeroom to fetch your violin when I heard, here it is. You did? And when I turned to controvert you, you had taken the viola and left, sir. However, there can be no doubt that the blame lies firmly at my own door for allowing you to leave. So I shall not grumble or grouse any longer. May this guilt Sudoku with me. No. Stop, my dear fellow. The fault is mine. Wow. Dramatic, aren't we? Phew. It would appear that the fight is over. I do humbly apologize, Mr. Windybank. Evidently, my questionable disposition precipitated this tragedy. Well, you wouldn't be Mr. Herlock Sholmes without that questionable disposition now, would you? I do believe you may be right, sir. It's either laugh or cry, I suppose. You are, I must say it, one of my more challenging customers. I needn't remind you of the peculiar collection of items you've brought through my door in the past. Oh? Peculiar items? In the extreme, ma'am. For example, the unpublished manuscript of an eponymous work. The novels of Herlock Sholmes or some such. Oh my, a new full-fledged novel? And unpublished? A story I haven't read? You mean? Oh, forgive me. Wait, before you Sudoku, you must tell me more. What is this? I must know more. More. Tell me everything. Wow, Susie is really fired up now. Is there really an unpublished story under this very roof? Well, one day the gentleman here brought in an old metal chest, you see. It should like to... I should like to entrust this to your care for a while, Mr. Winterbank. For just like that, 1 shilling, sir, not a farthing more. It houses something very great of value indeed. The latest manuscript recounting the adventures of one Mr. Sherlock Holmes. I beg your pardon, a manuscript? You wish to deposit a manuscript? Indeed, I do, for I am confident it will be quite safe here. And that was that. As such, Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom. Mr. What? Mr. Sholmes? Is that really true? Do I sense that someone doesn't want to talk about this? I continue to pay your fee, do I? Then kindly continue to store my belongings securely. Of course, sir. Of course. They're safe and sound with me, I assure you. On my life. This is all very strange. Pawnbrokery. I wonder, could I ask you something? Ah, the gentleman from the east, I see. Yes, that sable suit. I suppose I could offer you 6 pence for it. Without wishing to offend, the tone is somewhat dull. Sorry? Aha! But for your splendid attire, ma'am, 5 guineas, no less. Damn, son. So apparently a guinea is a quid, if not a little bit more. I think. I don't remember. Asla told me, but I forgot. The colors are exquisite design, exotic Eastern artistry at its finest, may I say. Oh my, 5 guineas, you say? And let me take it off. How interesting. Why do I feel as though I've suffered some sort of defeat here? Actually, I was hoping to ask you about your business. I've heard it's said that pawnbrokeries are used rather like banks here in London. Yes, sir, indeed. Many of our customers utilize the establishment as you describe. I appraise their items and offer them a proportionate loan and 2 months of secure stowage. I like how it's like stowage and not storage back then. If in that time they repay the original sum to me plus an agreed interest, their items are happily returned. That must be a lot of interest. I mean, he's running a store. And he must make sure that it is secure. But what happens if they don't pay you the money? Then the items are offered for sale in my shop, as you can see on the shelves behind me. So you never sell items before the 2 months have passed then? That's right, ma'am. That's right. Which means some considerable responsibility rests on my shoulders. Should a customer's precious belongings be lost, the only recompense is for me to end it all. Why? Customer doesn't get any money from that. The very idea, Mr. Winterbank, is an absurdity. One should never talk of one's demise so casually, says the man who was telling us it was a good day to Sudoku only this morning. And let us not forget that I have already helped you take measures to ensure such a tragedy never occurs. Oh, what sort of measures? I engineered a simple device which Mr. Windibank has installed here in this shop. I call it the Red-Handed Recorder. Okay. Is that not so, Mr. Windibank? What was that deep sigh about? Red-Handed Recorder. What on earth is a red-handed recorder? Use your eyes, my dear fellow. There are two just below the ceiling. I try to see it on the actual screen, but I don't see it. I can see what appears to be a camera attached to some sort of timing device. Very astute. It is indeed a camera furnished with some 100 pieces of celluloid film. And every 30 minutes precisely, the camera automatically records the appearance of the shop. We get all the information we need for the case. Here, I have an example I can show you. Wasn't film back then very expensive? Ah yes, a print from the camera set to record the activity at the shop counter. Picture of dog. I developed a special type of film so sensitive it can produce a crystal clear image even in darkness. Interesting. So, over 100 years later, we are not better off, as we cannot produce crystal clear images in colors in the darkness. Really? That's extra common. Yes, as you can clearly see the counter and the door behind it. Look! And the creepy doll. You see, were someone to enter the premise with ill intent, his identity would be summarily exposed. Why? It only takes a picture every 30 minutes. You could literally rob the entire place in between. Unless there are specific traps that actually activate the cameras outside of that time frame. But did you not say that the photos were taken at 30-minute intervals? Indeed, as you say, dear madam. Brain damage inducing. Then what if the incident were to occur in between the times? Oh my god, she actually has grown one brain cell. One could say that would be a cruel twist of fate. I must confess, your devices have been giving me some cause of distress late. I beg your pardon, Mr. Windibank. Surely they are anything but distressing. Reassuring is the word. It's the cost of the film, sir. You most graciously placed not one, but 2 cameras in my shop after all. Which means I must pay for nigh on 100 utterly useless prints every single day. I'm afraid the cost of the film will break me before I'm very much older. Understandable. Nevertheless, a small price to pay to ensure the safety of my preferred pawnbrokery, no? My dear fellows, we verge on the age where safety and security come at a price. Yes. Oh, heaven help us. Or you could just get yourself a dog, you know? Now then, Mr. Sholmes, allow me to return your precious violin. Ah, the very thing. Thank you, Mr. Windybang. Perhaps this may mark the end of the peculiar items you try to pop, hmm? Because if anything were to happen to one of them, this would be the only answer. Oh, I really think you ought to stop waving that gun around. Someone could get hurt. Fear not. Sorry? I've only loaded a single bullet, so no one but myself could possibly be harmed. That's not really what I meant. Good day to you then, Mr. Windybang. It's been a pleasure as always, Mr. Sholmes. So, Mr. Naru. Reno. So, Reno? Now we can explore at last. Can we? Should we? I'm scared of this shop. Look at this! What could this lovely big shiny box be? That, my dear madam, is a music box. Surely you have such things in your own country. Oh my, yes, but I've certainly never seen one so large before. Shall we listen a while? Oh god, DMCA strike incoming. Ah, what a sublime sound. It's like the music of angels. We don't believe in angels in Nippon. I've never heard anything like it before in my life. This particular specimen is of larger variety commonly found in public houses and restaurants. There's a metal disc inside on which the notes to be played are recorded. Simply by replacing the disc with another, any music you care to imagine can be played, even dubstep. Oh my goodness, what a simply delightful machine! Indeed, though their popularity waned recently with the development of the gramophone, of course. Science and technology advance at such an overwhelmingly pace. Oh hey Susie, welcome. It's me from the future. Would you like to experience your future past within 10 years? You know, considering that we produce in a day like as much history as we did in the entirety of the history of humanity now, yeah. Or month? Doesn't matter. It's all the same as crazy. Look at all that enormous... Look at that enormous ledger open on the counter there. Mr. Windybank is, if nothing else, very particular about recording the items he accepts. It'd have to be, otherwise he would get himself into all sorts of troubles. Which might explain the thing that catches my eye far more than the ledger. There's a revolver here. Do not entertain even a single thought of pilfering an article here, my dear fellow. I assure you Mr. Windybank would not hesitate to draw that weapon with a speed belying his portly size. Oh, you don't mean he would blow our brains out? Indeed, in recompense for his blunder. Oh my! But in any case, of course we would never do such a thing. How could you even suggest it? There seems to be a little door hidden behind that curtain there. That leads to the storage room, where Mr. Windybank keeps articles that are currently in pawn. Ah, I see. There's nothing of particular interest inside. I certainly wouldn't recommend any larcenous activity. What is that word? What is larcenous? Tell me, internet. It means it's basically a word for being thievish. Recommended or not, it's not something I intend to do. There should be one key, and Mr. Windybank keeps it in his pocket at all times. Before he sleeps, he places it into a small pot, which he slides under his pillow. What? Why would you put it into a pot and the pot under your pillow? The pot would break. The heck? How on earth do you know that, Mr. Sholmes? I'm a detective, sir. It is my business to know what others do not. Just like cats. I'm frequently assailed by information that I neither care for nor wish to retain. Mr. Sholmes, you are a wonder! The prime suspect if this pawnbroker is ever burgled. He has a point. I'm glad that most of this is not to be targeted. What an assortment of things there are on the shelves. Here, crockery, footwear, clocks, watches, Swiss watches, almost anything you care to imagine. Those are forfeited items offered for sale by the pawnbroker. What does that really mean, though? When you pawn or colloquially pop an item, the broker loans you money against its worth. He stores the item for an agreed period of time, after which the loan must be repaid. If not, he just explained the entire endeavor to us like 5 minutes ago, but continue. He is free to display it in his shop for sale at the price of his choosing. Oh yes, now you've explained it, I'm noticing a little price tags on everything. Of course, simply by paying the agreed interest on the loan, one can extend the period of safekeeping. So you may pawn that black garb of yours without fear, my dear fellow. My treasured university uniform? Never. It embodies my student spirit. Spirit. That's not a calendar you could easily miss, is it? 15th April, today's date. Yes, that's not for sale, I must point out. It's an Eastern-style page-a-day calendar. Every night at midnight, I tear off the front page to reveal the following day's date. Why? You could just do it when you're back in the shop the next day. Why wait until midnight? The perfect calendar for tearaway fellows such as yourself, Mr. Windybank. And who was it who walked out of here with the wrong violin before? Well, when we agreed storage period has passed without repayment, articles are forfeited, you see. So I have to keep a close eye on the date. It's something of a pawnbroker's obsession, you might say. Oh yes, I can see you're very dedicated to your job, just like every single Nipponese. I'm sorry to interrupt this, but, you know, one thing you will never ever do if you ever work in Japan is being late. If you're ever being late, you will always be the one who is pointed out as that's the guy who got late to work. And yes, there's no excuse for it. Nothing you say will ever excuse you being late. Yes, this goes as far as there was an actual hurricane that allowed us not to use the train to come back so I can do my work next day. Doesn't matter. It's like the world could be on fire. There could be meteors falling from the sky. If you're late, there's no excuse for that. Who fucking cares if there were meteors invading aliens and a burning world between you and your work? That's, by the way, absolutely no joke. That's really how it is in Japan. It's scary when you think about it. Look at this. Whatever could it be used for? I have no idea. There's a small catch. Just here, look. We're going to open it, aren't we? Did she say catch or latch? Oh my, that's amazing! It has some sort of spring-loaded mechanism. Which we will never manage to put back the way it was before. What are you two doing? What? Us? Nothing. No, nothing at all. Whatever this device is, it seems to have a pair of little windows to look through. I feel as though I've seen something rather similar to this elsewhere. Now what do you suppose this rather enormous machine does? It seems to have two little windows for looking through. Allow me to enlighten you, my dear fellows. What you are looking at is a stereoscope. A stereoscope? Fascinating. It is aptly named, I assure you. Look through the eyepieces and see for yourself. Oh, I should be delighted to. Excuse me for a moment while I just have a look. Just before you do, there's something I should point out. My dear fellows, in order to see the image properly, stereoscopically, as it were, you will need to be cross-eyed. However, if that's beyond you, it is of little consequence today. Alright then, I'm going to try it. Mr. Runer, you must see at once. Alright then. So I need to be cross-eyed, like I'm trying to look at my own nose. What the? I don't believe it. It's just a photo, but it seems like you could reach out and touch it. Yes, the sense of depth is startling, is it not? Stereoscopes are one of London's many fads. They are often found in little stalls in the park. People queue for hours to see them. Why? Why are people meddling with such black magic? Yes, black magic. Next we're going to summon an angel from Japan. It is no magic, my dear madam. It is, well, far too complicated to explain at present. We shall save this lesson for another day. Oh. What? Only tuppence for it? That ain't fair, and you know it. I don't know who's saying this. The article is barely worth a penny, miss. I cannot offer more. More. Sounds like there's an argument brewing over the counter. Come on, you can't be right. Have you even had a proper purchase it? I've seen all I need to see, young girl. What? Oh, it's her. Oh god, it's her. I don't remember what voice I gave her. Wait, don't we know? I sure recognize her. Oh yes, it's that young lady thief from Mr. McGilder's trial 2 months ago. Her name is Gina Lestrade, me lord. She's a chancer, earns her crust among the large crowds, malevolent people with their purses. What we commonly call a pickpocket. I don't remember your voice. Gordon Bennett, you lot! Hello, Miss Lestrade. I hope you've been very well. What? You remember me then, do you? Well, I remember being completely surrounded by Bob's smoke, that's for sure. Which he did draw on a canvas. Hi, Bob. Cheers. Woo! So, what are you doing here? What are you doing in here? Down and out like the rest of us? Nothing to eat? Come to park a black weasel? Sorry, coat, have ya? Whatever. What is this about a black uniform that makes everyone comment on it? Ah, good day, unless I'm much mistaken. You would be the young pickpocket who stole our experimental smoke grenade launcher. Ah, Mr. Sholmes. So, you have something of value to pawn, do you? Allow me to see the article and I shall negotiate with Mr. Windybank on your behalf. Pull the other one. Pull the other one. I don't need your help from some stuck-up D. Get out of my business. Go on, I'll make your trouble for you. As you wish, Miss Lestrade. I will happily remove myself from your presence. He's really done it. He's gone. I'm sorry, but as I said, there's really no room for negotiation here. What is that thing in his hand? Some kind of metal disc? Hey you, go on, leave me alone. Oh, Miss Lestrade, just pretending, aren't we? We shan't be offended in the slightest. Susie can really stand her ground when she wants to. Whatever. I will regret everything. Pawnbroker's customer. Somehow, I didn't really think you were the sort of person who would use a pawnbroker, Miss Lestrade. Yeah, well, I am, right? I'm a Londoner, just like everyone else. That's a problem, isn't it? Is it? Why is she American? No, not at all. It's just, well... Oh, I get it. I know what you're thinking. That thing probably don't even belong to her. Probably got it on the dive, didn't she? It's extremely difficult to read her. Yeah, I can see it written all over your Chevy Chase. Well, I have been thinking something along those lines. You're not going to deny it, Mr. Naru? Naru? Reno? Rudo? Ryu? Alright then. I'm just going to come out and ask you straight. Okay, go on a date. Do you pawn things that you steal from other people? Well, I don't know how the best to answer that, really. Suppose sometimes. You're not going to deny it either, Miss Lestrade. What? Not this time, alright? I swear, that thing belongs to me. Whatever. Disc that with Mr. Windybank is holding. Perhaps we should see what he has to say about all of this. Ugh. But you make it very complicated game. Miss Lestrade's disc. Mr. Windybank, what exactly is this metal disc that Miss Lestrade has brought in? It seems to have hundreds of tiny little bumps on its surface. Ah, this is a music disc, you see, for use inside the music box. In a music box? Oh, come on! What? You didn't even know what a music box is. You Eastern lot ain't too savvy, eh? I know what a music box is. I've just never seen one of these discs before. The small protrusions on the metal disc encode the tune to be played by the music box. You simply insert the disc and the machine set. You simply insert the disc and set the machine going, and beautiful music plays. It's so incredible. Tell us, what tune is on this disc? Well, I'm afraid I couldn't tell you that. There are so many different types of music boxes, you see? British made, German, Swiss. Ah, Swiss. I have no way of knowing which particular machine this disc was made for. Ah, I see. And that's it in a nutshell. I wouldn't have any customers for an item like this, even if the young lady forfeited it. Really, I'm already offering more than I should at a penny. It's a packet of lays. He told me, he did. He said it was well. He? Who? Never you mind. It just ain't right, that's all. The disc's worth good money, I know it is. Well, then you have to try your luck at another pawnbroker's, won't you? Gina Lestrade. She's been in here before, of course. This little tattered What? This little tattered Demalian? Demalian? What? What is this word? I see. I brought some dubious article or other with hers every single time, I might add. Dubious? What are you trying to say? I'm an honest customer, me. So is there something dubious about this disc she brought in today? Well, if only it were that simple. Sorry? What do you mean? What she actually brought in was a storage ticket. Ah, a storage ticket, so Miss Lestrade has actually come to redeem an article from you today, is that right? Yeah, that's right. A girl like me has a lot of stuff what needs storing. Alright, yes, that's definitely dubious. The article in question would have been forfeited at midnight tonight. But as she gave me the ticket for it and repaid both the loan and the interest, I was obliged to return the article to her. But what was the article? Do tell us, Mr. Windybang. The little scamp is wearing it, ma'am. It's the overcoat that she redeemed. Is it? Oh, it's the bag, isn't it? What? What's wrong with that? It fits, don't it? I mean, it's mine, so of course it does. So what about the disc then? How does that come into all of this? The disc is something else. A new article to pawn if the girl and I can agree a price. New article to pawn. I'm confused. I thought you said that Miss Lestrade brought in a storage ticket today. It's really quite simple. Yes, the child brought me a storage ticket and the money owed on it, as you say. But this heavy black coat which you returned to her, yeah, as I understood it. That's right, yes. Rather unsurprisingly, as soon as the little ragamuffin put the thing on, she went rifling through the pockets. Oh, you mean? What? Don't you know it's rude to stare at the lady? Ah, I see. So it came from the pocket of the overcoat, did it? If you mean this desk, this desk, an entire desk in the pocket of a trench coat. If you mean this desk, then yes, exactly, man. And she immediately tried to pawn it. Quite a high price as well. This is all rather suspicious, I think. Give it up. I'm just trying to pawn something like anyone else would. Miss Lestrade, may I ask who deposited the overcoat here in the first place? Well, me? It doesn't really appear to be your size. Me, old man? It's me, old man's, ain't it? Is it, Miss Lestrade? Yes, this is definitely all rather suspicious. Out of my way, please. Oh god. What is this? It looks like the guy from Final Fantasy VIII, you know, the one who was always arch rival to Squall. He looks like this guy. I forgot his name. Who's this picture postcard English gentleman? Oh god. Good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. What's your problem, eh? There is no problem, as long as you remove yourself. I have matter to discuss with the proprietor. And if you intend to make a problem of it, I shall see you outside, little girl, for the hiding you deserve. Look, ain't it obvious? I ain't done talking with him yet. If you think you're such a gent, you should know how to wait in line. Well, you are an impudent little brat, aren't you? As well as a pickpocket, because she stole the ticket from him. Eh? Who are you? How do you know I am? How do you know who I am? I hate how she speaks. The question is, how do you not know who I am? You haven't the courtesy to even remember the faces of your victims, it seems. What do you mean, from you? Broker. Yes, sir. I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no? Yes, the article in question belongs to me. I demand it to be returned at once. Oh my! Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull? Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel, and needless to say. Any music box discs too? Why is everybody posing in this game? All poses. No, you can't have it. You just can't. It's me, old mans. Or it was. Now it's mean. Goodness, Mr. Naruhodo. This is a very awkward situation. Yes. I think perhaps we should hear both sides of the story in a little more detail. We certainly should.